Well, I convinced Will to stop playing Imperial Assault long enough for us to review Season 1 of Vampire Knight.
I know what we think. So, let's start. What genre do you think this movie was?
All the genres, and it's not a movie, it's an anime.
True. All the genres. It's not an answer.
It's a romance, it's a comedy, it's a mystery, it's a thriller. It's mostly a mystery.
I would say it's mostly a romance, but I don't know. It's just
There's no romance, there's the hint of romance that could be.
between several characters.
Well,
And
why
it
not?
keeps going back and forth and back and forth.
That's what happens. It's based on the shoujo manga, so it's based on a manga that's meant for female readers. Which is apparently quite clear to him, but I feel like it's got something for everyone.
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, there's this allusion to chess. It's called Vampire Knight, the Knight. Kaname is always playing with chess. You see sometimes a chessboard and pieces. So you know that there's some allusion to someone's playing a game of sorts, but you don't know what the game is. You're always trying to figure out why certain characters are the way they are, what happened to them.
Speaking of characters, who are some of your favorites?
Well, Yuki is the main antagonist. Yuki's the main protagonist. She's really cool. She's a part of the day class.
Played by Yui Ori.
And she's on the disciplinary committee. Also on the disciplinary committee is Zero Kiryu.
Played by Mamoru Miyano.
Are you given the English names or the Japanese names? Because there are English voiceover names and Japanese ones.
I'm not sure. Whatever came from IMDb.
Or they're both there. And Kaname Kuran.
Who on my list is played by Daisuke Kisha.
The dorm president of the night class. Very powerful, pure-blood vampire. There are other characters too. Troy Baker voices one of the characters.
Yeah, I was surprised to find that out. He voiced Akatsuki Kane.
Yeah. There are other characters in the day class, although don't really even know their names. And you do learn the names of some of the other vampires in the night class. Like there's Ruka, there's Hayabusa. I think Hayabusa. There are a few other ones. So you learn just a little about them, enough to know that they answer to Kaname. And they all have their own special... Well, some of them have their own special powers. There's a character named Maria for a while.
What did you think of the character development?
Well, it's interesting because Yuki is kind of this innocent little girl, and you see her as a little girl in a couple scenes, and her dad is the headmaster of this school, and she does anything for him that she can, being on the disciplinary committee, working all night and going to school during the day, and she's kind of naive, and over the course of the show she becomes less naive, although her priorities of her friendship are so strong that she doesn't see everything that she could, I think, because she doesn't care. She just wants to do what she can for her friends. Kaname, I don't know what to think of Kaname because I see different sides of him. And I don't know if he's good or bad, to be honest.
I think they did a really good job of developing the main characters, but they went into too much detail throughout the show of characters that really didn't matter.
Like who?
Like the one vampire that's obsessed with Kaname. I put her name in my review, but I can't think of it at the moment.
Ruka?
I think it was Ruka. Let me look down.
She got bitten by Kaname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of time developing her character.
Really? I didn't feel like they talked about her at all.
And a lot of scenes of her just complaining. But there were so many other characters that come about later on in the story that could have been better developed.
Well, I don't remember very many mentions of her, but I think they're trying to build up some jealousy between her and Yuki.
I can imagine, but it just went nowhere in season 1.
That's fine. What about Zero? What'd you think about Zero?
Overall, I really like Zero's character.
Mm-hmm.
I like how he was kind of standoffish, but he's being forced to put himself in an awkward situation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I like that.
I think he's the underdog of the show in many ways. He's a character that I think is just really interesting and not a very typical kind of character in the animes that we've seen so far.
Overall, music, sound effects, what'd you think?
Oh my goodness. The intro to this by On Off is one of my favorite songs maybe ever. I don't know, like definitely one of my favorite songs from an anime. Although whatever anime I'm watching has my favorite song at that time.
I will say that my highlight of the entire show was the intro song.
I don't know if that's good or bad. The song also changes throughout the season, so like it's the same song, but sometimes you hear like an extended beginning to it. The video that plays along with it changes depending on where you are in the season, which I think is really neat. There's also music like for the day class, music for the night class, music for each of the characters. They have their own theme.
Let's get into scores.
Alright. 8.0 for me.
8.0 what?
Presents for the night class.
And a 7.0 for me.
Not too far off.
I just struggled with the character development.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was, they did such a good job with the main characters,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't do a good job of developing characters that come in later in the story. They put too much emphasis into certain characters that really aren't playing a role yet. They might in the future.
I feel like they did a really good job. The 3 main characters are very well developed, but there's still mystery around them.
I love that part.
There's purposefully, I'm almost sure, mystery like Yuki's dad, more about Kaname's past, some of the vampires even probably.
The headmaster. There's a lot of mystery there.
That's Yuki's dad.
Well, for now, we'll say yes.
Anyway, don't spoil things if you know something I don't want to know. But yeah, there's mystery around some of those other characters because I'm pretty sure they intend to tell more. They allude to enough to make you really curious. The same thing with the hunter teacher, Togo. You know a little bit about him, but not very much. You know a little bit about some other characters that I won't say because I don't want to spoil anything. But, I mean, they have a second season. Clearly, there's going to be more that happens in that second season. I think you'll learn more about some of those other characters. But I do agree, like, I don't know the names of anyone in the day class.
Even Yuki's roommate.
I don't know Yuki's roommate's name.
And she's in so many scenes.
There's this boy who's always, like, study so we don't have to be last to do all these things, and I don't know what his name is either.
Well, for me, I don't think the review needs any spoilers.
No, I don't think so. I don't want to spoil it.
I recommend watching it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not without its faults for me.
You know, it's not perfect, that's why I got an 8, but I think it's very forgivable. I'm not as harsh on the character development as you are because I really feel like they gave me enough to make me really curious, but still want to leave the mystery there.
So, check out Vampire Knight. Let us know what you think.
Yep.
Stick right here with Crossfire Co-op.
CXT ya.